On a cold winter morning in 1930, Jonathan Harper, a rhinoceros and rare fish hunter, was driving his wooden wagon through the dense Canadian forests toward a village called Ravenhole, a small village on the shores of a frozen lake he had never visited before. He had heard about it from other fishermen who had told him that rare fish abounded near its banks, but they, too, spoke of it in hushed tones, as if the very name of the village carried an ominous omen they were reluctant to touch upon. When Jonathan reached the outskirts of the village, a thick fog hung thickly, stifling the weak sunlight. Wooden huts lined the main road, their doors open as if their occupants had fled in a hurry. No smoke rose from the chimneys, no sound of life. He got out of his wagon. The only sound breaking the silence was the sound of his footsteps on the snow. He approached one of the huts and opened the ajar door, finding the table still covered with frozen plates of food, as if the family had been about to have dinner before disappearing. In one corner, a baby chair swayed slowly, despite the absence of any breeze. The more he wandered, the more he felt as if something was watching him. Every window was like an open eye. When he entered the small church in the heart of the village, he noticed something that made him shudder. On the church walls were ancient graffiti carved with bloody nails, words incomprehensible but repeated in a circular pattern around the altar. Suddenly, he heard a creaking sound upstairs. He froze, then mustered his courage and climbed the rickety stairs. There, he found a narrow room with a mirror covered in black cloth. He reached out with a trembling hand to uncover it and saw his reflection, or so he thought. But his face in the mirror didn't move as he did. His blood froze as he saw himself in the mirror, slowly pointing behind him. Jonathan turned, very slowly, to face the void. But when he looked again in the mirror, he saw dozens of pale faces staring back at him with empty eyes. He let go of the mirror, panting, and ran out of the church. As he ran, he heard whispers in his ears, as if the entire village had suddenly awakened. The whispers said, "You won't get out. You won't get out." He ran until he reached his carriage, but when he tried to mount it, he discovered that the horses pulling it were nothing but skeletons covered in the remains of dead skin. Only then did Jonathan understand why no one ever spoke of Ravenhole anymore. It is said that no one ever saw Jonathan Harper again. But on winter nights, if you pass by that lake, you can hear footsteps in the snow, and a man's voice whispering in the wind, "Get me out of here."